Firefly Online, Return of the Browncoats. Now, the rules require that I give you all a test before we proceed with the panel. If you fail, we'll have to cancel, so try to get these right. Appropriate, it's a multiple choice. Appropriate answer is say nothing. You can say, raise your hand, or you can scream hell yeah. Up to you. First question. Now this is a tough one. Don't answer it right away. It's a trick question. Are you Browncoats?
Hell yeah!
Question number 2. Do you like Firefly?
Hell yeah!
Now, this is the most important question. Listen to it very carefully. Think about your answer, because you've been doing well so far. Would you like more Firefly?
Hell yeah!
That is what we are here to talk about today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Andy Gore. I'm the executive producer for the game. The gentleman sitting right here is John O'Neill. He's the head of development for Firefly Online. The gentleman on the far end of the panel.
Way over there.
Let's put him over there because we don't really like him that much. This is our composer. Mr. Wesley himself. And if you're wondering why we have these 3 open seats in the middle, we have 3 special guests for you today.
Oh yeah.
First of all, the lovely and talented Andrea Romano. Who, amongst many things, has impeccable timing.
Right on.
Andrea is our voice director. And seeing as a lot of what you're going to see today involves her imitable skills, we thought it was good to have her here. Next special guest is Mr. Wheaton. Will is playing the voice of the player character, which for those of you who have played games knows that that is a massive role. And it also means, for all of you who've always wished to be Will Wheaton, he actually wishes to be you.
And I get to finally realize my lifelong dream of being in the Firefly universe.
Last but absolutely not least, the lovely and talented Courtenay Taylor. Courtenay will be doing the female player character. We are so happy that her work on Firefly Online got her into Fallout, apparently, right?
It did. It was my lucky charm to get in Fallout 4.
So it looks like we have a full house. By the way, for those of you who don't know, we did this panel last year. They gave us a room half the size. We had about 3,000 people who couldn't get in. So this year they gave us a bigger room, and I think we also overfilled it. So maybe next year we'll actually get a ballroom for Browncoats. So without further ado, I want to introduce John O'Neill, who has some cool stuff for you. John?
Hello. So what we're about to watch is the in-game opening cinematic.
So what do you guys think? Do you approve?
Yeah.
We obviously have a lot more work to do, but it's coming along, and frankly, we couldn't have been there without the folks on this panel here. And actually thought maybe this would be a good moment, Andrea, for you and Courtenay and Will talk a little bit about the project with the audience and what this was like for you guys to work on it.
Well, I feel the same way that Will does about it, which is how fortunate are we that we've got to be a part of this world that is so remarkable, and it's remarkable because of you guys. It really is. It's why it exists as an ongoing anything. And so I think we all felt really fortunate that we had the chance to play. And the truth is, when it came to the player character and voicing that, Andy and I spoke about who we wanted to play with, and I said, well, let's listen to some auditions and hear some voices, and then, I forget, we were working on something. I went, ooh, Will. We should have Will come and play. And then I said, you know what, let's, in fairness, because we are auditioning people, let's ask Will if he will lay something down. And he did. Will Wheaton auditioned for this and literally won the role. And Courtenay, I didn't know
that. That's awesome.
And Courtenay, I didn't know yet at all. And Courtney's audition came in, and both Andy and I were like, wow, she's terrific. And so I called up her agent and said, what's her experience, and blah, blah, blah. And I apologize that I didn't know you before, but I know you now. And both of them did such remarkable work, and they recorded separately. We tried to record them at the same time, but it didn't work out. And
Will was busy.
That's why.
I got things to do.
Available.
Doctor Who is not going to rewatch itself.
What we really wanted to do was, because the Chinese is so challenging, you heard Nathan doing that one line in there. I think that line took us, what, Andy, about 20 minutes to record? Because we have to record it in pieces, because it's just not a natural language for any of us who don't speak Mandarin fluently. We had this wonderful girl, Jessica?
Jessica May, who's actually sitting in the audience, and we need to embarrass her terribly.
And we thought it would be fun to have her teach them simultaneously the same phrases, but it didn't work out. So she was kind enough to come in 2 separate times to work one day with Will, one day with Courtney to speak the Chinese. And we really lucked out. This is a really kind of inside story. When we record pieces of lines and then edit them together, you know, in English, you can tell right away if it works, if it flows. If it's a particularly long line and you go, okay, we recorded that part, and we'll take this part from take 2, we'll take this part from take 3. You listen to it and you can hear it. In Mandarin Chinese, you have an editor doing that on the spot, and you go, I don't know if that worked. Coincidentally, this wonderful recording facility we used, Out Loud Audio in Burbank, the engineer, it was fluent in Mandarin Chinese. So on the spot, she would take what we were told were the best takes and edit it together, and then listen to it, and we'd go, okay, that works, or we have to re-record this, or whatever. But that was just a stroke of miracle that happened for us.
And she also had the little head tilt when it wasn't going very well. I would look at Jessica, and Jessica would try to go, and then I would look into the booth, and it would be like, I think maybe we should go again.
My experience with performing Mandarin was like, so Jessica would say, so I'll substitute English so I don't mangle your language again. So it would have been like, here, it's like, please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age. Okay, say it that way. Great. Please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age. Good? Did I do that right? No, okay, so listen. Please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age. Okay, I got it. Please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age. How was that? That sounded pretty good to me. Did I do that right? And it was the weirdest thing in the world, realizing that my brain does not have the neural connections that are necessary to form that language. And it would sound like, my favorite word I think was gusher. How was that? Terrible, right?
Gusher.
Gusher, yeah. Which means dog shit. And I was like kind of getting it, and Jessica would say it, and I would say it back, and I swear to God, it sounded exactly the same. And then I'd look in the booth and see, it's literally 2 syllables. How could I not get it? That was the thing that I was most super excited for and super nervous about. And apparently, the editors managed to pull this together and make it sound like I actually knew what I was doing, which they super did not. But what I'm good at is because I play poker with Chinese people all the time. I know what that means.
I'm just was shocked that you actually got through the whole sentence because I would get to like, please be aware, and then be like, oh wait, do it again. We'll just start at the beginning, and then maybe like, please be, no. And I finally was just like, open your mouth. Let me see what you're doing in there. And she's like, I can't open my mouth because then I can't make the run. I'm like, it's cheating. So I ended up having her right in front of my music stand, and I would be like there, and be staring at her. She's like, you're kind of freaking me out. Stay right there.
And then we heard that the cast of Firefly, and I'm a ginormous fan of Firefly. I don't qualify to be a Browncoat really, but I really love the show. And I had heard these great stories about how the cast of Firefly didn't act, they kind of like mangled it a little bit, right? And kind of had their own, almost like their own like patois version of it, right? Which makes sense because at that point, what we know as modern Mandarin would have evolved and changed the way language has changed since Victorian times for us. And I found that out, and I'm like, but then the fans are going to be mad at me for not doing it right. I mean, I'm technically doing it right, but I'm not doing it Firefly right. I was assured that it would not be a problem. No fair yelling at me, guys.
Andrea, I think, wasn't it Alan who was the most concerned about the Chinese? Was that the right
No, I think
way to
Nathan
put it?
was. I actually think Nathan
Oh, was it Nathan?
And by the way, Nathan really wanted to stop by. He truly wanted to be here for you guys, and he just couldn't work out the schedule. Both Nathan and Alan wanted to come by, so I send you their regards and thanks for your fandom. But I think Nathan was Nathan and Adam worked together, and they both had stories of just saying, we tried to get it right. And we have the benefit of we can do it over and over and over again and do it in pieces as we did. On camera,
Many pieces.
on camera, shooting the scene, they kind of had to get it right. So they may be deep into a scene and then there comes that Chinese line. And they get all nervous and then they would try not to mangle it. And I think that's how it evolved into their own version of Mandarin Chinese that would exist centuries forward.
It's not like I needed an excuse to rewatch Firefly, but now I have one, which is to go and rewatch it and see if, like, sitcoms with kids, if it's like, it's a two-shot or it's like a loose master or whatever, and then the kid comes in and it's just a single on the kid, because they have to say the line like 7 times, and then it's back to, like the dirty over or whatever. I wonder if the shots are like that.
I wonder.
That's a really good excuse for me. I can totally justify that when my wife's like, it would be great if you could come to bed. Honey, I'm doing research. We need to talk about Firefly a lot in the next couple of years, and I should know the answer to this question. Also, come watch with me. Nathan's in it. You'll like it.
I think there was a lot of throwing over the shoulder because I went back and watched a few episodes and I was like, there was a lot of like kind of tossing it over the shoulder as you sped away and stuff. I was like, I'll have to bring that into the booth next time. It's motion.
Yeah, that's fun research, is to have to watch the show again. Well, I better just watch it again and again, and maybe I missed something I should watch again. And there were references to something that we have yet to record, where you said it's kind of like this character in this episode. Oh, I have to watch that episode again.
Actually, speaking of Chinese, and you guys made me think of it because we were just working on this scene last week. One of the other new people to the Firefly verse that Firefly Line is bringing in is Kelly Hu, is playing a new Asian crime boss on Persephone. And it was very interesting because she grew up in a house where they spoke Mandarin. And you hear her say the lines, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to sound. And it's funny because it sounds exactly the same, but it sounds different.
Like more confident?
Like she knows what she's doing.
Like in a complete sentence?
No, she actually said kosher, but she said it like, she says that every day. She gets mad at the toaster and goes, kosher.
Sorry, Jessica.
Yeah, I don't have to say it right.
I think it's great that I now know how to say a curse word in another language, because it's another one of those things that I can get away with, in front of the parents.
Right, or in front of kids.
Yeah, which is also great, until they start picking up on it.
But the whole recording of this whole project was just an absolute joy. Aside from working with people who had not worked on the original series, working with the actors who had been on Firefly originally, their joy at coming back and playing again was so contagious that, I was already so proud to be there anyhow, and been lucky enough to work with all those actors on various projects over the years, but to watch how they interacted with each other. And for those of you who were here last year when we did the panel, I think I told the story about how we were recording in this terrific facility in Burbank, and we were recording Nathan and Adam, and Alan Tudyk walked in to do a different session. And we had already made the offer to him to come and play, and he had not received the offer yet. And he walked in and he saw the guys and us, and he's just, they're, let's go. And we're like, oh, no, we want you to come and play. He's like, oh, yes, please. For a moment, I was going to be a part of it. We're like, no, no. And I think we told you, we can reveal what Alan played.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
You saw 2 seconds of him in this, but Alan, aside from playing his regular character, he plays Seaver, the crazy psychic in this, and he's scary.
He's really
scary. Alan's really
scary.
Well, my favorite part about when Alan came, and we didn't know, it's not a big studio, but with other productions going at the same time, our green room is directly down a hallway from the kitchen. So he was there to get, whatever, a drink or whatever, and he saw the guy say, hey, what are you doing? And then it was very funny, because I sort of saw what was going on the corner of my eye. He came over, and I think he saw Sean first. Her name was Ron.
Maybe.
Yeah, and so he said, hey, Ron, how you doing? And then he saw, hey, Sean, you're here too. And then he saw Nathan walks out of the studio, and then Adam's right back, Nathan, and Adam. He says, I'm still dead, aren't I?
Come on, man. That's not cool.
And I walked out of the studio, I said, no, you're not dead. It's before the movie, I swear. He goes, well, just tell me you've hired Lawrence Fishburne to play me.
That was one of my first questions when I found out that I was going to have an opportunity to try to be cast in this game. Is the cast in it? And I don't think everyone had agreed at that point, but a lot of people had signed on. And I thought, well, I mean, I know all of them, and I know that they all have the same kind of affection for Firefly that all of us from the Next Generation have for our show as well. So it's like, yeah, what do you want us to do? We'll put the spacesuit back on. Just let us get together and go play in this world again. And but what I didn't know until I was in the studio was that I got to play scenes like you as the player and I, the player's voice, get to play scenes with the crew of the Serenity, which is like the coolest thing ever, and one of those things that makes me so grateful to be a voice actor, because that would never happen for me as an on-camera actor. I'm never going to get an opportunity to go in there and play a scene with those guys. And even though I wasn't in the studio with them, and their stuff had already been recorded, and we got to play some of it back for me, that I got to act with Mal was as awesome as you ever think that it would be, and also it's like a super trip because it's just voice acting. But I left the studio every day like, I'm canon of the Firefly universe. This is amazing.
We had one recording session. I think we recorded both of you in 2 sessions each, right? Did you have 1 session or 2 sessions? 2 sessions. Both.
I had to do 2, yeah.
Right. You had 3.
Oh, that's right.
The reason why you had 3 was, this is the strangest thing. I've been doing this work directing voices for 30 years plus. And the first day we do the majority of the dialogue, and I think we did the Chinese the first day, I don't remember exactly. But the second day you bring actors back in to do all the fight stuff, the stuff that's a little bit tough on the voice.
We call them call-outs, and it's an Excel grid of just
getting
every
hit,
noise,
death screams, all kinds of stuff.
Down the left side, like that.
So it can be trying on the throat. You don't want to do that and then do dialogue because the voice it changes. And so we were in the middle of, as a matter of fact, I recall you were wearing a very handsome shirt that day. And I try to direct the actors so it's not just, okay, go to line number 4 on the grid and do that. I tell them what it is, okay, you're throwing 3 punches. So it's, give me 3 completely different, and then they echo me. And so we were at the point where he was being punched. I said I need impacts. 3 punches to the gut. So,
And as an actor, it's cool because I can watch Andrea through the glass, and she's throwing punches, so I'm like basically taking them.
Right.
And each time, like subconsciously, she moves her body in a different way, and that makes it really easy for me. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but it makes it really easy to just like make those sounds come out.
So if I'm, if I say, okay, you're taking a hit to the gut, I'll go like this, and you do this for me. So hit to the gut. Uppercut to the jaw. Completely different sounds, right?